Want to know why 95% of sports bettors lose money? It's not bad luck, it's not the refs, and it's not that one leg away from a parlay. It's emotional betting, it's bad habits, and it's the fact that most people never learn how to do this the right way. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you're tired of guessing and losing, tired of betting for fun and getting burned each week, tired of watching other people win while your account stays stuck or goes down. You're ready to start betting smarter, and more importantly, you're ready to start making money doing this. This video is your starting point. This is your beginner's guide to sports betting. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a little bit about myself and why you should even listen in the first place. I'm Fred, founder of AF Sports. I've been betting full-time for the last 11 years. What started as a passion turned into a business. And over the years, I've built a brand, a community, and a system that's helped thousands of bettors stop losing like fans and start thinking, and more importantly, winning like investors. The truth is, I make my money by betting every single day. I put down $3,000 to $5,000 a day in real wages with real tickets. That's over $100,000 a month in live action. Not on a demo account, not for show, my own money, my own risk, my own tickets. And I post everything, wins and losses. No fake screenshots, no hiding DLs, no bullshit. Because I believe in transparency, I believe in strategy, and I believe in showing up like this is a real business, because it is. If you're tired of watching hype online, tired of following 10 different cappers who never show their losses or provide results, and you're finally ready to learn how to do this the right way, grab a notepad, shut off the noise, and lock in for the next hours. This isn't theory. This isn't gambling content. This is the beginner's guide to sports betting. And if you take it seriously, it will change everything for you, I promise. If you're ready to level up your game, smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and let's get to work. Now let's talk about something every beginner needs to know. Where do you actually place your sports bets? First and foremost, you need to know your laws and regulations based on where you live. It is as easy as going to Google and typing what sports books are legal in my states or is sports betting legal in my country. That one search could save you a lot of time and a lot of confusion down the road. Now, if you're in a state like California, for example, sports betting is not yet legal through US-based books. That means you won't be able to bet on FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, or Caesars if you're not physically located there. What do people do in that case? A lot of my clients I've worked with use non-legal state books like Bovada and MyBookie. If you are in a state where US sports books are legal, you're a step ahead. Books like BetMGM, FanDuel, Caesars, Hard Rock, DraftKings, they are fully licensed. All you have to do is sign up, verify your info, and deposit money. And if you're ready to go, quick tip before you make your first deposit, go to covers.com, check out the promos for the sports books prior to depositing. For example, if you put $250, they'll match you with another $250 bonus for a first-time deposit offer. So make sure you're looking at the offers for all the books to see where you can leverage the most and get the most out of it. Once your account is set up and you've got the money in there, you'll be ready to move on to the next step, which is learning what types of bets to place and how to find value. Welcome to the first official lesson where I'm going to show you exactly how to stop betting like a fan who loses money every week and start betting like an investor who actually profits doing this. Whether you're brand new or you've been doing this for a while, this is your starting point. Now let's start with the core of sports betting, which is odds. If you do not understand odds, you do not understand risk, value, reward, and how to really do this. So here's a simple example of how it works. A minus means the team is favorite. That number tells you how much you need to risk to win 100. So if the line is minus 150, that means you have to risk $150 to win 100. A plus means the team is an underdog. That number tells you how much you'd win if you risked $100. So for example, if the odds are plus 200, you'd bet 100 and you'd win 200. That is it. Simple. Favorites equals lay more to win less. Underdogs, you risk less and you win more. Next up is one of the most popular betting formats out there, which is point spreads. You're usually going to see something like the following. Patriots minus 7.5 versus Jets plus 7.5. That means the Patriots are the favorite team and they have to win by 8 or more for you to win your bet. If they win by exactly 7 or less, you lose that bet. If you bet the Jets at 7.5, your bet wins if the Jets win outright or even lose by 7 or less. The spread makes uneven matchups more even for the betting public. Now let's break down money lines, the most direct bets out there. This is just picking who's going to win the game. No spread, no margins, just wins. For example, Yankees minus 150 versus the Red Sox plus 130. If you bet the Yankees, you'd need to risk $150 to win 100. If you bet the Red Sox, you'd bet 100 and you'd win 130. Money lines are great for when you're confident in a team winning outright. That's what money lines are for. The next key concept is totals, also known as over and unders. Instead of picking a team, you're betting on the combined score of the game. Combined score. Let's say the total of the game is 48.5 for an NFL game. If you bet the over, you want the total score to be at 49 or more. If you bet the under, you want the total to be at 48 or less. This is a great market when you don't love either team, but have a strong opinion on the style of play. Like two explosive offenses or two strong defenses, something like that. In baseball, instead of spreads, you're looking at run lines. What is run lines? Here's how it works. The favorite is usually minus 1.5, meaning they have to win by 2 or more runs. The underdog is usually plus 1.5, meaning they have to lose by 1 or win the game outright. For example, Dodgers minus 1.5 versus the Chicago Cubs at plus 1.5. If you bet the Dodgers, you need to win by 2+ runs. You'll get plus money because that's harder to do. If you bet the Cubs plus 1.5, then they can lose by just 1 or they can win and you can still win your bet. It's baseball version of the point spread. Now that you understand how the bets fully work, let me hit you with the 3 biggest mistakes I see new bettors make every single day. Mistake number 1, not treating betting like an investment. You have no plan. You make random picks. You bet with emotions. This isn't about games. It's about managing risk, staying consistent and growing slowly over time. Mistake number 2, comparing yourself with other people that you see posting massive parlay tickets for 10K wins. Now you feel like you're behind. You overbet, you chase, you force action. Start small, track your bets, build confidently little by little. And last, mistake number 3, inconsistent and chasing losses. You lose 2 bets, you triple the third to win it all back. You lose again, now your account is drained and you're frustrated, you're pissed off. Discipline matters more than any picks. That's it for today, guys. Beginner's guide. You just learned how odds work, the type of spreads, the type of money line, the types of over and unders, and now you're ready for lesson number 2. Let's talk about what odds really mean, because this is how the sports books make their money and how you can beat them doing this. Odds are just another way of showing you how likely something is to happen. Let me break it down for you. If a team is at plus 200, that means it's an underdog, like we covered last lesson. You bet 100, and if they win, you get 200. That means the sportsbook thinks there's a 1 in 3 chance they will win. If a team is at minus 110, that means that you have to risk 110 to win 100, and they're what? Favorite. The book is saying they have a 1 in 2 chance to win. But here is the trick. If the sportsbook says team A is at minus 110 and team B is also at minus 110, that adds up to 105, not 100. Where does the extra 5% go? They go to the sportsbook. That's how they make money. It's called a VIG, short for vigorish, but think of it like a built-in fee. Now here is how you win. Let's say you think there's a team that has a better chance to win than the sports books are showing you. For example, you think they'll win 60% of the time, but the odds are showing you that they'll only win 50% of the time. That's called value. That's where you have the edge. That's where the pros look for every day. So don't just bet because you feel good about a team. Bet when the numbers are in your favor, because that's how you win long term. Odds equals chance plus opportunity. And the opportunity is there if you know how to spot it. And you will if you continue watching this video, because patience is key in this industry. And a smart bettor doesn't rush. They read the numbers and they make them work. Let's keep it going. Let's start with MLB. Baseball has 162 games, but most bettors can't find 10 good ones to bet. Why? Because they're betting with last year's stats and ESPN hype, not real data. Let me show you how I break these games down for you. First, I look at pitching. Most people look at ERA, which stands for earned run average. Shows you how much runs a pitcher's giving per 9 innings. But I like to look at FIP, fielding independent pitching. FIP tells you how good a pitcher really is based on what he can actually control: strikeout, walks, and home runs. If a pitcher has a 4.80 ERA and a 3.20 FIP, that tells you he's better than the scoreboard shows, and probably undervalued. Next, I look at offense. Instead of just looking for the season stats, I look at OPS over the last 7 and 15 days. OPS, on base slugging, a simple, powerful stat that tells you how well a lineup is getting on base and hitting for power. And by tracking it short term, I can see who's hot right now and who's cold. I'm betting momentum, not just reputation. Then there is bullpen, one of the biggest edges in MLB betting. I checked bullpen ERA over the last 5 games, how many guys pitched yesterday, and whether their closer is set up for today. Late innings make or break games. I consider the ballpark and the weather. Is it hot? Is it cold? Are they playing in Coors Field in Colorado? Is the wind blowing out like Wrigley? Hot, humid, windy days can turn fly balls into home runs, and totals reflect that. And I don't bet on the road 0-5 teams just because they're due. I bet on momentum and edge, not home. Lastly, home teams tend to win. Not always, but look at home and away splits for pitching and batting. Discipline over hype. Patience over action. Download my free live analysis videos to see how I approach all of this live every single day. Now that we've gone over MLB and how to profit sports betting with it, let's go over a live analysis that happened a few months ago. You're gonna see me break through every single thing that I just covered with you in the training, and you're gonna see it in a live situation when I analyze this game, and it actually won as well. So enjoy it, pay attention to it, and remember one thing: every game is different, and every spot has its own situation that you have to analyze differently. This is gonna help you grasp that and loop the circle around so you fully understand the process. Now, you got Singer versus Paul Skeens, guys. Pittsburgh versus Singer, there's some success, right? You got Gonzalez, 0.0 OPS, Davis, 2.0 OPS, Kinner Falefa, 1.029 OPS. You got Cruz, 0.900 OPS. I mentioned Gonzalez because I confused him with Davis at first, so sorry about that. But a lot of players have good OPSs against him. Now you look at Cincinnati versus Skeens, not much success. You got Lux and you got Sear with 1.0 OPSs. Ultimately, Skeens has the edge based on the bad matchups that they have in place, right? Pittsburgh has had a little bit more success against Singer. Now, for me, guys, this is a situation where Singer is a fade prospect. Why? He does not do well in away games. 5.73 ERA away games compared to home at 3.36. As you guys can see right here, and along with that too, night games are not his strength. 5.80 ERA, and he's facing Paul Skeens after getting rocked in Colorado, and he bounces back well after getting rocked. He's gotten rocked 3 times this season. One versus St. Louis very early on, he bounced back well. The second one, I forgot who it was against. He gave up 4 runs after that game. He dealt. So I'm expecting a big bounce back game from him today. He pitched in Colorado. Colorado, the ball flies higher. It goes further due to the altitude. So you got to factor that in when you're looking at games in Colorado. But he pitches better at home. 1.87 ERA compared to away, 2.15 ERA. You look at Brady Singer, guys. He's pitched in Pittsburgh twice, and he's lost both those games. He's 0-2 in Pittsburgh, and today he's going for 0-3. Paul Skeens has been dominated against Cincinnati. He's picked up 3 Ws over the time that he's faced them. Now, this line opened up in favor of Pittsburgh at -182, which to me was pretty high. I had this line sitting at around -150. Vegas is thinking otherwise, but it has ticked down to -175 with money and support a little bit more on Pittsburgh, right? 59% of the bets going to them, 39% of the handle. On the run line, 52% of the bets and 59% of the handle. I expected lopsided action for Pittsburgh in this situation with the way they've been playing, but the crowd is thinking otherwise, and it's rather even. We're going to factor in closer to game time to see where the money comes in, but ultimately, if it stays like this, I like the angle for Pittsburgh, guys. Pittsburgh's hitting better than Cincinnati right now, especially versus righties. Over the last 5 games, they're averaging 4.4 runs per 9 innings against righties versus Cincinnati at 3.1, and over the last 10, they are leading as well, 5.6 compared to 4.2 for the Cincinnati Reds, guys. Along with that too, you look at Pittsburgh. Over the last 4 games that they've played in Pittsburgh, they're 3-1 versus Cincinnati. More edge for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Lastly, you look at Vegas. Right here, they're projecting Pittsburgh to get more hits in this game, and they're projecting Paul Skeens to do better in this game. And this line in itself is pretty telling, guys. Now let's look at the data, right? The data gives the edge to the Pirates. OBP, they lead. OPS, they lead. Batting average, they lead. And slugging, they lead. They don't lead in the pitching categories: ERA, whip, opponent batting average, opponent runs per game, and opponent strikeouts per game. But today, they will, with Paul Skeens on the mound and with a rather rested bullpen that they did not have to use yesterday because they lost to the San Francisco Giants, guys. So for me, this is a play for the Pirates. Yes, the odds are a little bit higher than we like, but there's only 4 games on the board for today. So it's either take this game or stay away from today, and that's okay as well. You don't have to play every single day, and that's what I'm debating. Now let's look at football. Football betting isn't about favorites, it's about finding mismatches. If you don't know how to find a trap or find a letdown game, you're just another casualty by Sunday night and Vegas is going to cook you. And here's how I break down most games the easy way. I start with two key advanced metrics. EPA stands for expected points added, how efficient each play is at increasing your team's chance at scoring. Simple. Then I look at DVOA, defensive adjusted value over average, how good a team is compared to the league average, adjusted for opponent strength and game situations, which is key. If a team is 15% plus offense and facing a defense at minus 10%, that's a mismatch I want to exploit. But that's not all. I also look at third down conversion rate, both on the offensive side and defensive side. Can you stay on the field? Can you get off the field? If the offense converts 50% of the third downs and on the opposite defense allows 48%, that's a huge edge. Then we have red zone efficiency. Again, offense and defense. Some teams move the ball great until they reach the inside of the 20. Others lock down and force field goals. I want to know who finishes drives and who folds under pressure. Now, layer in the situational angles. Home versus road splits, let down and look ahead games, strength of schedule, and weather, of course, especially with totals if you're looking at that. One team can look great on paper, but if they just had an emotional rivalry win or looking ahead to the next week, they're vulnerable, big time. I don't care about record, I care about context. Smart football betting is about identifying edge others miss and striking before the line adjusts. And if you want help doing exactly that, download my free beginner's guide below. You'll get instant access to live video analysis for NFL and college football, real betting breakdowns, and a tool to simplify everything I just taught you. No fluff, no nonsense, just real strategy you can apply today. The fun begins now. I'm gonna start breaking down exactly how I analyze every single sport that I play, MLB, NFL, NBA, and college sports. You're going to get the basis of my system. You're gonna learn my system, and after that, you're going to see a video of me analyzing games live right in front of you guys so you piece the puzzle together and understand it fully. Along with that too, I'm doing this not only for MLB, I'm doing it for NFL and NBA within this video. So be patient, take out your notes, and get ready to learn. Lastly, I have a full library of live video analysis that I'm giving out completely for free with tools and a recap of what you're learning in this video. Go ahead and click the link below and you will download it completely for free. Now let's focus on football live analysis. You just went over every little data point that I look at for every single game. Now it's time to see it live in action through a live analysis through an NFL game that I won, and you're gonna see exactly how I analyzed it, how I approached it. And again, like I've mentioned over and over, every game has its own situational trend. You have to analyze them different. No game is the same. Every situation is different and you gotta know how to analyze it. And this live analysis is gonna help you put the pieces together to that. So let's get to today's analysis, guys. Let's get to the good part of today, which is NFL. NFL, we got Minnesota Vikings against the LA Rams. LA Rams struggling quite a bit. Minnesota Vikings thriving. They lost their first game last week. We did have Minnesota that game. They lost. It's tough to play Detroit, and I'm going to factor in Detroit's style of play and coaching calls moving forward because coaching won that game at the very end, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get to today's games, right? So first and foremost, the one thing that I like to look at when I'm looking at games is power rankings, right? Where these teams are, and their strength of schedule is critical when you're analyzing games. So Minnesota Vikings right now are sitting 9th in the power rankings, and they've had the 5th strongest schedule. Rams are sitting pretty low right now at 23rd, guys. 23rd, and they've had the 6th toughest schedule. Now, when we break these two teams apart, there are a lot of differences. Minnesota Vikings have been thriving, winning, great defense, and not that plagued with injuries. The Rams have been plagued with injuries quite a bit, guys. Cooper Kupp, a couple wide receivers, defensive side of things have been pretty injured as well. But today, it's looking like Cooper Kupp might be coming back. As a matter of fact, he's expected to come back, which is going to be a key component. So when you factor that in, a fact that Cooper Kupp not playing, their best wide receiver, and when we look at QB ratings, it feels like Sam Darnold leads Stafford by a lot. The reality of things, right? If we look at it over the last 4 or 5 years, you would say that Stafford is a better quarterback. Now this year, obviously he's not. But Cooper Kupp coming back, and if Cooper Kupp was playing the whole entire season, these numbers would be a lot even. At least if his entire offense was healthy, like Sam Darnold's, these numbers would be a lot even. Now, data matters more than opinions, but at the end of the day, you got to put your thinking hat on and think outside the box. Not just look at numbers. Just put it into perspective. What if Cooper Kupp was not injured week 2 through 6? Would his numbers be better? Most likely, because that's his main target, right? So let's get to the odds. These lines opened up at -3, guys, for the Minnesota Vikings. And we have lopsided actions for Minnesota Vikings. 90%, 84% of the handle going to the Minnesota Vikings, guys. Which, if you know one thing about me, I don't like to take games like that or teams like that with lopsided action because it's the biggest liability for Vegas, especially NFL plays. And especially after the last 2 weeks, the public has eaten big. The public has won the last 2 weeks big time, and that doesn't always happen consistently 3 weeks in a row. So, not saying I'm taking the LA Rams because of that, but let's break it down a little bit better. Line opened up at -3. It's pushed down to -2.5 with all the money and support going to the Minnesota Vikings. Clear reverse line movement right there. When we look at these two teams, guys, primarily yards per play offensively, defensively, QB rating, and majority of the stats are favoring Minnesota in this situation. I believe the only stat that really favors the LA Rams in my key stats is red zone scoring percentage, touchdown only. So they are more effective scoring in the red zone, and they've had big time injuries in their offense. That's pretty much it when it comes to the major stats that they're ahead of Minnesota. Other than that, they're pretty tight when it comes to third down conversions defensively. Now, this game is at +3. We're not taking them to win money line. I would take this game at +3. You're playing in LA. In LA this season, Rams are 2-1 this season, right? They've been playing a lot of games away. Big time, as a matter of fact. Let's pull up their schedule really quick. The season started September 8th. They've played 3 games away and 3 games at home. 3 games away, they have picked up losses. And then 3 games at home, they've been 2-1. They play a little bit better at home. Short week as well. Coaching matters when it comes to short weeks. And Sean McVay is a little specialist when it comes to short weeks. 5-2 at the spread record on short weeks, which is critical. This game is going to come down to coaching at the end of the day. And these teams, yes, right now they seem like they're very far apart based on record. But I believe as the season progresses, especially this game is going to be critical. You best believe the Rams are looking at the next 2 to 3 games as a big determinant to the season because they're 2-4 to start the season. This is a key game for them. They need to win this game to make it 3-4. And after that, they have a little bit of an easier schedule. Seahawks at Seattle, not that easy. But then they got Miami and New England Patriots, which they're not playing the best football. Yes, Tua's back, but LA healthy can compete against them. So right now there's trends going that Cooper Kupp might get traded. A couple key players of the Rams might be gone. This game is going to determine that. And they know that. Sean McVay knows that. Nobody wants to waste your time. Let's get to today's analysis, guys. As always, spreadsheet. I show you guys everything when it comes to my results because I believe that transparency and showing every little detail is critical, guys. That's how we build trust. And that's how it should be done, right? The stock market, the companies in the stock market have to give you financials of how they do every single day, every single week, all that stuff, right? It should be the same for the people that you're following with picks. So you see it right here. Yesterday we did take a loss. Altogether 12-3 when it comes to NBA to start the season. I haven't corrected the record here, so here I am doing it. 12-3, $36,000 profited. The $5,000 to $100,000 challenge that started last Monday, currently sitting at $14,431. So we've almost tripled the account, guys. And our goal for this week is to get to $20,000. Once we get to $20,000, we'll be done with this challenge account. We're using 2 accounts right now, one for the challenge and one for our normal bankroll. So altogether, guys, November still doing fantastic, close to $30,000 profited, $27,565 to be exact. So if you've been in my VIP and if you've been in my community, you're making big money. And we think long term. Remember, this is an investment, not a gamble. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. We focus on investing, not gambling. Now, let's get to today's action. NFL lined up for today, guys. There's 4 NBA games. I do like one of them, but I'm going to focus on NFL today because today's game to me feels like the trap of the century. The trap of the century, and we're going to break it down right here. So we got Pittsburgh Steelers going to Cleveland on a short week. Steelers currently sitting 7th in the power ranking. They're playing extremely well, and they've had the 23rd easiest schedule. On the flip side, Cleveland sitting at 28th when it comes to power ranking, and they've had the 21st hardest schedule or easiest schedule. So pretty much when it comes to strength of schedule, they're both very similar. Now let's start off here. I always preach on how we have to play with Vegas, not against Vegas. When people say that they are beating Vegas or that Vegas fucked up, that makes no sense. Vegas is a billion-dollar industry. If anything, they don't fuck up. They win every single year big time, more than all of us. So we want to learn how to play with them. What are they doing? Because they're winning. And at the end of the day, not get trapped by them, because that's what the squares do. The average Joe, they get trapped. In this situation, majority of the public and majority of everybody are high on the Steelers because they're playing extremely well. And Cleveland Brown, who are they? Winston, they haven't played in a minute. Who hasn't been playing in a minute? That should be an easy Steelers win, right? But let's break it down to see if it really stands out like that. First and foremost, play with Vegas. The line opened up 4.5, and it's currently pushed down to 3.5. With 92% of the bets and 87% of the money on the Steelers. That's, my friend, what I like to call a reverse line movement. Why is the line moving down? If you know how Vegas works, when the money goes to one side, the line should be pushing up. In this scenario, right, the Steelers line should be going up, not down. Reverse line movement. Why? That's a key sign right there. A little sign. 3.5, 4.5, depending on the book. And when we look at VSIN, that's DraftKings, the people that they're partnered up with, you're seeing a situation where, very similar, guys. The Steelers are attracting 82% of the bets and 67% of the handles. So off the bat, I would never touch the Steelers in this game because they're attracting lopsided action. And it's a huge liability for Vegas, especially NFL, guys. Especially NFL. Thursday Night Football, one of the few games of the day. Most people are going to be looking at the Steelers. The Steelers are a huge liability for Vegas, and they are the trap of the day, guys. Now, a couple of things that backs the Cleveland. Statistically speaking, head-to-head, Cleveland has done well against the Steelers at home over the past 4 to 5 years, guys. To be exact, they're 3-1 exactly, and most of those games have gone under, which I think today's game is going to go under as well, guys. Along with that, Jameis Winston, a wild card. Not much film on him this season, at least. He's a wild card, guys. They're going to look to run the ball, but this guy can make it happen. You saw what happened when he played his first game. He pulled up a huge upset, and he can get it done today, too. I'm not saying they're going to pull an upset, but what I'm saying is the following. Last week, we had a very similar game. Thursday Night Football, Eagles minus 3.5, and they ended up dominating that game. And Vegas isn't stupid, guys. They know that majority of you guys are thinking about that game, same line, and you're probably going to bet the same scenario. When in reality, today, you're coming with a short week. Everybody's high on the Pittsburgh Steelers because they're 5-0 over the last 5 and have covered the last 5 spreads. But to me, this is a situation where you buy low on the Cleveland and sell high on Pittsburgh Steelers, especially at 3.5 against a good defense like the Cleveland Browns defense. It's going to be a close game in my opinion. Now, let's look at the stats that matter. Yards per play offensively and defensively. The Steelers lead the way, guys. Plain and simple, offensively, they're going to lead a majority of the categories. Now, third down conversion, that's where the Steelers also lead. Defensively, third down conversion lead. Defensively, Cleveland does have the edge on that situation. And believe it or not, scoring touchdowns. Red zone efficiency, Cleveland has more efficiency than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go figure, right? Everything else, when it comes to defensive red zone efficiency and turnover margin, Pittsburgh does have the lead in that situation. So Cleveland really has the lead in 2 aspects, right? The ones that I just mentioned, 3.5 at home, reverse line movement, short week. Guys, Thursday Night Football, don't get trapped with the Pittsburgh Steelers today. Russell Wilson, don't be shocked if Cleveland pulls this upset, if they win outright. Now, we're going to take them 3.5. As a matter of fact, I'm saying it right here, we're going to buy it up to 4. So Cleveland Browns plus 4 is the play for today. NFL, reverse line movement. This is, to me, the trap of the day, guys. So don't get trapped by Vegas today with this game specifically. NFL, Thursday Night Football, line pushing down. Line, as a matter of fact, pretty weird for it to be this game, right? To me, this line should have been closer to 5, 5.5. And it being at 3.5, something's fishy, guys. And remember, we play with Vegas, not against Vegas. Now let's go to basketball. Basketball betting moves really fast. One injury, one hot shooter, or one pace mismatch, and your whole read can get smoked. That's why I like to slow things down with basketball. I like to look at metrics, not emotions. And here's what I look at first. I look at pace. Pace tells me how many possessions a team plays per game. The faster the pace, the more scoring and the more volatile. The slower the pace, less scoring, and typically it favors the unders. Next, I like to look at effective field goal percentage. This adjusts for 3-pointers being worth more than 2s. Very important in today's NBA. If a team shoots well from deep, this number tells you the truth, even if the raw field goal percentage doesn't. Then I love the net rating stats. This is offense minus defense. If a team is scoring 115 points per 100 possessions and allows 105, that's a plus 10 net rating. That's elite. Now, let's talk about a stat most people ignore. Offensive reboundings. Teams win or lose on the glass. Offensive rebounding creates second chance points, and that's the difference between covering and collapsing. When I see a team dominating the offensive boards, I treat them like a different beast, especially when it's late in the games. And yes, we all know this, defense wins championship, but in betting, defense wins consistency. Great defensive teams control pace, get stops, and protect leads. I always look at how they defend the paint, how they guard the three-point shooting, and how they rebound on the defensive end. The more stops a team creates, the more pressure they put on weak offenses. And that's where unders and tight spreads come alive. Situational edges matter too. Is a team on a back-to-back? Are they wrapping up a road trip? Did they just get blown out and now return home to their crowd? These aren't trends, they're energy signals. They tell you where the sharp side lives before tip-off. I don't bet every NBA game. I wait for the edge. I stay with the data, and I bet with discipline, not emotion. Now let's focus on basketball. Now that we went over every stat that I look at and how I analyze NBA and college basketball, now it's time to look at the live analysis so you guys fully understand how I analyze every single game. And this way you guys are going to learn exactly how to implement what I just taught you and become a profitable sports investor. Enjoy. Let's get to the money, guys. Golden State Warriors versus the Los Angeles Lakers. What a game. Line opened up at -2. In favor of the Lakers, right now sitting at -1 in most books. At the Hard Rock right now sitting at -1.5. Money and support going all over the Lakers, guys. 75% of the handle, 72% of the bets on the spread. On the money line, 63 and 67% of the handle. Golden State's not attracting the public in this action. Lakers at home, Doncic, LeBron. The public is all over them, and understandably so. Let's look at what's happened this season between these two. They have played each other 3 times, December, January, and February, and now they're going to play in April. Each game the Lakers have won. 2 of them in Golden State, and the last one in LA. Now here's the deal, and I've said this multiple times to you guys. It is very, very tough to beat a team 3 times in a row, and more than anything, 4 times in a row, especially a team like Golden State that's trending upward, got Jimmy Butler, and need this game a lot. Right? Injuries right now, nothing too significant. LeBron James day-to-day, but he's going to play. You guys know that. Kuminga, a player that's been out a little bit more. And most likely than not, we're going to see if he's going to play or not. I'm not counting him as a person that's going to play today, and that's completely okay with me. Now, before I go with the AI analyzer and give you guys all that data, I want to show you guys motivation. Right now, you want to take NBA games with teams that are motivated to make the playoffs or fight for a position, right? You have a situation here where the Lakers are sitting 3rd, and they're 17.5 games behind number 1 Oklahoma, and they're pretty much tied with Denver for 3rd and 4th, right? They're in a position where they're trying to get between 3rd and 4th and not really fall to that 5th spot and not have the home court advantage. Whereas Golden State, they're in a little bit more of a tricky position. They are fighting to not play the play-in tournament, which they do not want to do. You do not want to play the play-in tournament with a team that's contending to win the championship like Golden State is. They're playing really well, and they're a team that can really get deep if they're healthy and Curry plays the way they're playing. But right now, they're half a game behind the play-in tournament, and they need this win big time. I'm not saying the Lakers don't need it, but the Golden State Warriors are a little bit more motivated to not play the play-in tournament, whereas Los Angeles Lakers, they're 2.5 games behind that, right? Today, they lose, they're going to be in a position where they're going to need to win the rest of the games to not get into that play-in tournament, but let's call it what it is. Golden State needs this game a little bit more. Now, the AI analyzer has Golden State Warriors having the statistical advantage over the last 3 games, and I love the key areas that Golden State leads. They lead in offensive turnovers, defensive turnovers, and offensive rebounding. Those are my favorite areas that I like to back teams with. Other than that, the Lakers do lead in the defensive rebounding category, field goal percentage, three-point percentage, free throw percentage. Now, when we look at the gap between field goal percentage, it's not that big, guys. 45.7% to 47.4%. Altogether, it is a gap. Do not get me wrong, but not as big. And defense wins championships. And to me, what I've seen so far from Doncic is a great offensive player, but he lacks with defense. He lacks with defense big time, facing a player like Curry, facing a player like Butler that's going to run around the court, and he's not going to be able to keep up. Offensively, he will. But if Curry's playing the way that he's been playing as of late, to me, Golden State wins this game outright. And personally, this is not even a situation where I would take the Lakers. Personally, with the way I've been seeing them play lately, I like Golden State a lot more. 7-3 straight up over the last 10 games, 3-0 over the last 3. Lakers 2-1 over the last 3. Over the last 5, they are 3-2 altogether. Again, there's a lot of factors that come into play here. You're playing with Vegas. There's reverse line movement. Line opened up at -2. It's pushing down with all the money and support going to the Lakers. Along with that, too, you got a situation where Golden State is fighting to not play that play-in tournament, and they're a half a game behind it, very motivated to play that game. Lakers are a little bit more rested. Last time they played was March 31st. Golden State played April 1st, and they are on their 6th game on the road, but they went back home. They're in California, a couple hours away from San Francisco, so to me, yes, it's an away game, but they're more comfortable playing in the West Coast, and I think we can all agree, right? Time changes, all that good stuff. As you can see in the screen, this is a spreadsheet pretty much with all my plays. going back to July 19th. And I'm showing you guys this for a couple reasons. You guys see it for what it is. There's situations where I've lost 2 in a row, 3 in a row, and recently I lost 4 in a row. And you guys see it for what it is. I bounced back over the long period of time. So losses are part of the game. I've lost 4 in a row over the last 2 months a couple times, and yet I'm still up $120,000 over the last 3.5 months. So losses are part of the game, guys. Do not shy away because we lost. At the end of the day, we get up and we bounce back. We're looking to profit each week, not win every single day. I wish I can win every single day. I think everybody wishes they can win every single day, but since we can't because we're humans and mistakes happen, we aim at profiting each and every single week. And the last 16 weeks out of the last 18 have been profitable, guys. 10 and 5 over the last 15 plays. This week is going to be very profitable. We're going back to the NBA, guys, which the season started 13-3 with over $36,000 worth of profits. And that's what we're going to start focusing on a little bit more. NFL has been costing me a little bit, but just like any sport, guys, there's a period of time where the sport struggles. It did with MLB, it happens with NBA, it happens with college football. There's a period of time when that happens, you got to focus on other sports that you're doing a little bit better, and that we will today, guys. Now, before I start the show, as always transparent, guys, here's my tickets for yesterday. Losses, real tickets, real results. Putting my money where my mouth is every single time. I'm not just telling you a play and giving you guys play and hope for you guys to buy my passes. I actually put real money and a lot more money than you guys just see. So if you guys are enjoying this, learning, or finding this valuable, all I ask for in return is for you to share the show, guys. And with that said, let's get to today's analysis, guys. So we got NBA today. Yes, college basketball. They're in the tournaments. There's early games. It's exciting. I'm staying put with college basketball for the next few days till probably next week. Once I collect more data, I'll get to college basketball. But today with NBA, there's very interesting games. The Bucks at Heat are a very interesting game. Lakers at Suns are another very interesting game. And the game I'm going to talk to you guys about today is the Rockets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. So this line opened up at the 3.5 mark, give or take, and it's right now sitting at 3.5/4, depending on what book you are using. Money and support right now is going more towards the Minnesota Timberwolves at the spread, 63% of the bets and 49% of the handle. On the money line, you got it a little bit more lopsided. You got 76% of the bets and 63% of the handle. Rockets at Timberwolves right now sitting at 4. Now let's break this game down a little bit, guys. Right now, Houston hasn't played since November 23rd. Minnesota played November 24th, 2 days ago at Boston, which was a really close game. They kept it nice and pretty close. They could have won that game outright. Houston lost against Portland, and they've had back-to-back games against Portland. So when it comes to rest, Houston's a little bit more rested, but nothing too significant, right? Head-to-head, the Timberwolves have been dominant. Now, the stats that I like to look at, this is where I find value in this game. Very similar to the Knicks yesterday, right? The Knicks dominated in every category over the last 5 games, and they ended up destroying the Nuggets, guys. And when you look at the last 5 games, for the most part, the Houston Rockets dominated in every category. Turnovers, they lead. When you look at rebounding, they're the number 1 team right now in the league when it comes to rebounding, defensive rebounding as well, offensive rebounding as well. 3-point percentage is the area where they're not leading in this situation against the opponent, the Minnesota Timberwolves, because Anthony Edwards is shooting lights out. But then when you look at field goals, the Houston Rockets are ahead of the Minnesota Timberwolves, if I'm not mistaken. And no, they're a little behind. So field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, the Minnesota Timberwolves are ahead. But defensively, stats-wise, you got Houston Rockets dominated in every category. Turnovers, rebounding, which are critical, guys. When you look at defensive efficiency, too, over the last 5 games, the Houston Rockets are sitting in the number 1 spot. Now, given they've been playing easier teams. Portland, not the hardest teams, right? But still, nonetheless, they've maintained this position pretty much the entire season. They've been in the top 5 defensively the entire season. When you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're climbing up a little bit. They were playing pretty bad defensively. Now they're sitting at 19th, guys. And when we look at the strength of schedule right now, strength of schedule to see which teams have played the hardest teams, we can see if Minnesota has had an easier schedule or not, and Houston has had a little bit of a tougher schedule altogether this season, sitting right now at 8th in this situation, guys. So for me, I see a lot of value in the Houston Rockets in this game, very similar to yesterday with the Knicks, guys. +4, I can see this being an outright upset, and I really like this play. This is one of the games I'm looking at. I am looking at the Lakers versus Suns as well today, and the Heat at Bucks. But you guys know me, I'm a Miami Heat fan, so I don't take those teams. So the play for today is going to be either the Houston Rockets or the game between Lakers and Suns, which I'm analyzing a little bit further, and we'll make a decision closer to game time. So for today, guys, if you're still betting off vibes, emotions, or Instagram pics, this video is going to change that for good, because winning in sports betting long term is not about luck. It's about having systems in place. A system is a set of rules that removes emotions from your decision making, and that's key with sports betting. It tells you what to bet, when to bet, and how much to bet. And guess what? This keeps you from spiraling down when things go sideways. Now, let's start with the basic. Bet sizing. The safest and most sustainable approach is called flat betting. This means you're betting the same amount every play, usually 1 to 5% of your bankroll depending on your risk tolerance. You avoid chasing losses, you control variance, and you get real data over time. Now contrast that with something like Martin Angle system, where you double your bet after each loss. It sounds great in theory, but one bad streak and you're risking $1,600 just to win $100 back. That's not a system, that's a panic strategy, and I'm not a fan of it. I use flat betting for my system, and I've been doing it for the last 10 years. Once your bet size is locked in, you build a system out of that. And a good system starts with a hypothesis, a pattern, a trend, or an angle you believe gives you an edge. Then you test that over time. Track the results, stick to the rules, no tweak mid-streak, adjust only after a 100+ bet sizing example. Now, here's a quick example. Only bet NBA home teams that are underdogs between +3 and +7 after 3 straight at the spread losses. That's a real system with a 56.3% win rate over 3 seasons, and I wouldn't have found that without tracking. That's why I built the AF Sports Tracker. It lets you track every sport you bet, every system you use, ROI, and all the angles you have, wins, losses, and your emotional decisions. It's how I find what's working, drop what's not, and scale what's real. So if you're ready to stop gambling and start building a system, go ahead and download the free pro tracker that I created for you guys and start building your system today. Let's talk about how to play with Vegas, not against it like 99% of cappers promote. Because if you've been betting for any length of time, you've probably noticed one thing. Vegas doesn't miss much. The house always wins is a saying for a reason, because they're not just setting the line based on who's better, they're setting the lines based on how the public is going to react. And your job as a sharp bettor is to spot when the books are laying a trap. And here's a perfect example. Bills versus Dolphins, the line opened up in favor of the Bills at -7. The public and the money is on the Bills, yet the line dropped to -6. Now think about that for a second. If majority of the money is on the Bills and sportsbooks want to even out their risk, why is the line moving down? Buffalo should be moving more in favor, right? Instead, it's moving towards Miami. That's what we call reverse line movements. It means that despite all the action, the line is going the opposite direction. And usually that signals sharp money on the underdog or on where the line is moving in favor, or a trap being set by the public. Here's what you need to know. Vegas wants to balance the money. The goal is to make money no matter who wins. So if one side is getting hammered and the line doesn't adjust like it should, something's off. Something needs to be investigated. Follow the money, follow splits. You can find these through Action Network, Vegas Insiders, Covers.com, or VSIN. Directly from the sportsbooks, you can access that as well, like FanDuel. They'll give you the bet percentage and money percentage. Pay attention to where the big money is going, not just the number of bets. Don't be afraid to fade the public. Vegas is in the business for a reason. When the entire public is on one side and when the line's moving the other way, that's usually a signal to pump the brakes. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean you blindly fade the public every time. Sometimes the public is right. But over time, being a contrarian, playing the Vegas side will give you better closing line value and a better ROI altogether. Finally, it's been a pleasure teaching you guys. And if you've made it all the way through the end, thank you. Just know that if you treat this the right way and invest instead of gambling, you will scale to my unit sizes and live financially free in due time. Trust the process and understand that most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. That's the difference between the 1% and the 99%. Now, if you got value from this video, I have one favor to ask you. Please subscribe, please like, and drop a comment below with any questions or topics you want me to cover next. Also, make sure to download the free guide. It includes all the tools I use, a full breakdown of this entire video, and the Pro Tracker to help you track your bets by sport, ROI, and system. It's free. and it's built to give you structure and clarity starting today. And look, I'm not here to sell you picks. I truly believe that learning the system is what gives you power. Knowledge is power, and it's what lets you win long term without relying on anybody else. That's why I built a sports betting analysis community. Inside of this community, I break down games every single day with live analysis, videos, and written breakdown that shows you how I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, and why I'm making every play. But if you're not ready for that just yet and just want to follow my plays as you learn, I've also dropped the link below to get my picks directly. And lastly, this is important, make sure you take advantage of the Sportsbook's promo code below. If you're starting out, get that free deposit match. Use that bonus money as extra ammo to build your bankroll. Good luck, bet smart, and invest, don't gamble.